Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you for induction into the Sports Hall of Fame, Michael J. Tramuta.
How you guys doing? Randy's probably thinking, is this guy going to tell a joke that's appropriate? Because he said I could tell one. Members of the committee, fellow inductees, honored athletes, and parents, it's such a pleasure to be here tonight. First of all, I never thought I'd be here. We grew up in Dunkirk from hardworking parents. Basically, 10 years old, I fell in love with the game of basketball. Very small, and in 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, the nun says you could play if you have shoes. I didn't have gym shoes, so I asked my dad, Dad, I need gym shoes. Guess what he told me? Go get a paper route. So I did. He was brilliant because now I had gym shoes, money in the bank, and a paper route. My nickname in 7th and 8th grade was the Judge because I spent 3 years on the bench.
That's your one joke.
He said that's my one joke. I got another one. Butch McCoyak went to Carnoustie. He hosted the party we had with Mark and down at the Knights on Saturday. It was unbelievable. And he wanted an early tea time. And he got this tea time, and he said, the only thing is when you give me a caddy, he's got to have great eyesight because he said, my vision is very poor. Okay. So at 6:30 a.m., Butch is down there, and here comes this caddy, probably in his late 80s, with a New York Yankee baseball hat on, a sweatshirt that says Choose Life, and Michael Jordan sneakers. He says, hi, mister, how you doing? He says, you're my caddy? Yep. He says, well, can you see? Oh, yeah, 20/20 vision. See a mile away. He said, okay. So Butch got up, hit it, faded a little bit to the right. He says to the caddy, did you see it? Yep. He said, where'd it go? Don't know. Forgot. Those are my guys. I would not be up here tonight if it wasn't for two people, God and that little pretty lady sitting over there 47 years, who's my wife. And I want to share this with her because Bob Bender, when he said we were kind of taught, to be we people from the nuns. And, I had enough discipline at home. And then, in those days, the belt was always a present. So the belt from my house, they sent me to a Catholic school to be beaten professionally. And I learned the hard way. My wife taught nursery school for 32 years and never got a dinner like this. And I watched her teach the fundamentals of reading, from phonics, cutting, coloring to 3-year-olds. And you talk about a love of something for children. The only reason she retired was 5 years ago. She got ovarian cancer, and she fought it. And she's my hero, always. I particularly want to thank Dave Polchetti and John Bongiovanni and Bill Schrader, who put my name up years ago. He was a wonderful guy. Everybody here remembers Bill. And if it wasn't for those people, I probably wouldn't be here. My career really took, in the end, a very strange area. And I don't want to talk about what I did. I want to talk about where I ended up. I mean, I coached for almost 30 years, 25 years of high school and close to 5 years of college with Bill Hughes. And as I was coming to the end of my career in the 90s, we were going through the cocaine crack cocaine era, if you remember, where athletes were losing their careers and some of them their lives, but not to the extent that's going on today. And I'm going to come back to that, but I want two people here to stand up because we talk about the will to win and the will to excel and student athletes. So Bryce and Braden, these are my grandchildren. Would you stand up? I've watched these two kids grow. No, stay standing. Since the time they were small, and you talk about student athletes and not one and dones. Braden is a sophomore at Seton Hill University on an athletic scholarship for soccer, and she's an honor student and a great kid. But besides that, Bryce went to Canisius and played 4 years of soccer as a goalkeeper. And like Kobe Bryant, the first 3 years, I don't know if you're aware of this, but when Kobe played for the Lakers, he didn't play the first 3 years of his life because Del Harris did not want to make it seem that he was playing favorites. And he was as good as anybody on the team. So he sat the bench. Bryce sat the bench basically the first 3 years of his career because the goalkeeper was very good. In fact, he was his best friend. Well, what happened his senior year was he was able to make some all-star teams. He was able to help his team to certain season wins. And more than that, he got a degree in business and a master's degree in international business. And he's working for a nice company called Rich's, Bob Rich, not too bad. And he's also, at 23 years old, the CEO of a company that makes gloves that's distributed all over the world. And our goal as coaches, and I'm sure you guys out there that's coached, and the ladies too, is in the end result, you can sit down, that's fine. The end result is where our kids end up, you know, what do they take from athletics? And obviously, a lot of kids today that would sit the bench for 3 years would quit. They wouldn't play. And not once, whenever I picked that kid up for Thanksgiving or anything, did I ever hear him knock the coaches, knock this, just said, I'll get my chance, Pappy. And you did. And you did great. So we'll get back to. So I was coaching in Buffalo, and a lot of coaches, basically, we were talking about chemical dependency. So I decided to get into chemical dependency and get a degree, alcohol and other drugs. And I ended up working in a halfway house in Buffalo, Friends of Cazenovia Manor, for 5 years. And it was ironic because the kids that came through there were professional athletes, athletes with great ability, and they gave them to me. So you know what? I didn't know much about chemical dependency and some of the stuff. So I started using coaching principles in chemical dependency to the dismay of all the people in the field. And I tell you what, they worked. And so basically I still run a group and do that in Dunkirk on Thursday nights. And we've put over 9,000 people through that group that have been sick. I don't know if they're all sober because that's nothing I would know now. But basically that's the way my career went from coaching to chemical dependency counselor. And I want to throw this out to superintendent of schools, coaches, male and female, principals, parents. If you want to know what's really going on in our field with your children, 37% of high school kids vape. If you really want to know what's going on with synthetic fentanyl that can kill your kids, you bring me in and I will do a seminar, I will work with your kids, and you're going to say, for how much? And the answer is nothing. Because the program I'm in, we keep what we got by giving it away. And basically, that's what I learned. And I'm going to give the high school athletes John Wooden's great poem, and then I'm going to be done. Remember this your whole life through. Tomorrow there'll be more to do, and failure waits for those who stay with some success made yesterday. Tomorrow you must try once more and even harder than before. Thank you so much. I will never forget this night, neither will my family, and thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Well done. Well done.